Hey friends, what if I told you that your child has a unique language? And if you learn how to speak that unique language, it will potentially draw the two of you much, much closer. Today I want to talk about the 5 love languages specifically for your children. And I'm going to start off first with a story. Last night, as I was putting my oldest to bed, she's 5.5, I had done the routine. I had, read the books. I was laying in bed with her. I had read the books. We sang the songs. We said our prayers. We kind of snuggled for a minute, just chit-chatted. And then I said it was time for bed. So I walk out the door and I hear a little whimpering. And I thought, I'm tired of being a mom. It's done. It's over. But I thought, okay, so I went back in there with my best mommy smile. And I said, what's going on, sweetie? What's wrong? And she said, I need some more snuggles and a little more love. I need another song. And in the back of my head, I'm like, I'm not singing another song. I'm done. But I'm thinking, okay, she's obviously, so part of this might be a wee bit of manipulation of I don't want to go to bed. But the other part of it is she's learned to tell me I want more snuggles or I need more love. And so I'm like, okay, this is going to take just a few minutes of my night and it's going to help her and it's going to whatever. So I chose to be the calm, cool, patient mom that night. That doesn't always win. But anyway, so my story, I said, okay, honey, I said, well, I'm not going to sing another song. I said, but there's this new game that we can play. And she kind of looked at me like, a game? Score! I said, it's called the I Love You Because ABCs. And this is how it goes. I love you because you are adventurous. And she smiles and I said, okay, now it's your turn. I said, you tell me something you love about me that starts with a B. And I could just see the gears kind of start to turn and she says, I love you because you're beautiful. And I said, oh, thank you, and she's going, and so we went through the entire alphabet and, you're clever, you're daring, you're excellent, you're fun. There were probably some made-up words in there, not by me. But she loved it. I was kind of leaning over her, and she was wiggling in her bed and kicking her feet and just grinning and giggling. She was so excited. So when we got done, I gave her a kiss and I said, okay, now it's time for bed. She said, okay, mommy. And that was it. She was good. She went to sleep. I didn't have any more issues of whimpering or crying, and, that I got to go have my mom time. And it took me a couple minutes. And I effectively filled up a love tank for her. And I feel like that was a really good indication of what potentially could be my daughter's love language. We recently did a video on the 5 love languages, and if you haven't watched it, you can right-click, open new tab right here. We can have a little card and you can watch that video. Well, we recently did a video on the 5 love languages for adults, and it was something that I was thinking about as far as my husband and friendships and that type of thing. And then it got me thinking, well, hey, maybe I should look into this whole thing for our daughters, for our children. Now my youngest is still a little bit small and she's currently basking in all 5 of them because, she gets what she wants right now. Anyway, for my 5.5-year-old though, I'm starting to see, obviously she has her own little personality and she's getting older, and so I'm currently diving into understanding her love language. I have it narrowed down to 2, and with the help of this book, I'm actually going to figure out here within the next few months, hopefully, what her primary is. Now, so for those of you who don't know, I'm just going to briefly recap the 5 love languages. And like I said, if you're not sure about them, check out the video because we go into a lot more detail in that video. So the first one is physical touch. The second one is words of affirmation. The third one is gifts. The fourth one is acts of service. And the last one is quality time. Now, real quick, and the only thing that I'm going to say about these specifically right now is physical touch. When we're speaking specifically about children, even if physical touch isn't your child's primary love language, I encourage you as parents to touch your children. Hold their hand when you're walking through the parking lot, or, kind of rub their shoulders a little bit, or ruffle their hair, or reach down and give them a kiss. Because it's my belief, now I don't have teenagers, but it's my belief that as children and then young adults, we don't ever really outgrow the need to feel that physical affection from the safe people, from our parents. And with my 5-year-old, she loves it. I don't know what it's going to look like when she's 15, but I'm not going to stop. It's just, I'm mom, and this is just what we do. Some of you might be wondering, well, how am I supposed to figure out what my 5-year-old's love language is? Or how am I supposed to start to kind of look and see what my 3-year-old is saying? And for this video, I'm just going to be focusing on the younger years, because that's where we're at as well. The book does talk about older children and how to understand that, because being a teenager is just a completely different beast. So anyway, I'm going to be focusing mostly on the younger side of all of this. So some suggestions on how to discover your child's primary love language. The first one would be notice how they express love to you, the parent. Young children have the tendency to express love in the way that feels good to them. So as an example, if your child is saying things like, "Mommy, you're so pretty," or "Daddy, I hope you have a good day at work. Thank you for helping me with whatever," it's maybe a good indication that your child is giving words of affirmation, and so it might be that would be how they would receive love best as well. The second one is observe how your child is expressing their love to other people. An example of that would be if your first grader wants to always take a little gift or some little something to their teacher or to their friends. Now, as long as this is their idea and not your idea, but if it's something that's coming from their heart, that might be showing that they enjoy giving gifts, and in return, maybe that they enjoy receiving gifts. So paying attention to how they're expressing love to the people around them that mean something to them. The third suggestion is listen to what your child is requesting most often from you. So as an example, it would be something along the lines of, "Look at what I'm doing, Mommy, watch," or them wanting you to come outside and play with them. Those types of things are going to indicate quality time. Another part of that is if your child is soliciting compliments in certain areas, like, "Does this look okay?" or "Am I pretty?" or "How do I look?" I mean, 5-year-olds are not exactly tactful. "Mommy, am I pretty?" There's no fishing there. It's like, "Hey, you, tell me what I want to hear." So, but if they're soliciting for compliments, "Do I look okay in this? Does my homework look good? Do you like the way I wrote my E?" Then that also might be an indication that they're looking for words of affirmation. So if you're paying attention to what your kid is asking for, and you notice over, a pattern over a period of time, and it's the same, then that would be another way to kind of help glean ideas on what your child's primary love language is. The fourth one is, and this might seem kind of funny, but notice what your kid's complaining about. Okay, so hear me now. All kids are going to complain now and then. It's just part of being a kid. But if you are paying attention to the specific things and there's a pattern, as an example, "Mom, you never have time to play with me," or "You're always doing something with the baby," or we have a little one, so it's like, okay, I'm paying attention to these things, because it's not necessarily complaining to complain. Your child is actually telling you, "Hey, I miss having quality time with you. You're always busy. You're always with the baby." Okay, that's saying something. I want your quality time. So although it might be easy to do when they start complaining, pay attention and see if there's a trend. Okay, so last but not least, and this is kind of one of my favorites, that is give your child choices. And this works especially well for younger kids, although it can work for older kids too, but give them choices. So as an example of that might be, "Okay, honey, do you want me to make you some cupcakes? Or would you like to sit outside on the deck together and drink lemonade?" So that's active service and quality time. Another example of giving choices would be, and this is especially true in my house, at least for my husband and our 5.5-year-old, is, "Would you rather wrestle Or would you rather read a story together? So we have wrestling, which is physical touch. Yes, believe it or not, there's a lot of touching going on, and that fills up those tanks for physical touch kids. Or reading a story together, which is quality time. One more example would be asking your kid, do you want to play the I love you because, and this is obviously words of affirmation. At the beginning of our video, we talked about this game, which is, this book is actually where I got it. So would you like to play the I love you because, words of affirmation, or would you like me to put up the new shelves that you've been wanting, the new fancy princess shelves that you've been wanting in your room? An act of service, or insert whatever, and see which one they go for. Because a lot of times they're gonna know, like, oh, I get to wrestle with daddy, or oh, I want to sit outside on the porch with mom and drink lemonade and no one else. So kids are gonna tell you what feels good to them, and that's another really great way, coupled with the other suggestions that I gave you from the book. That's another really good way to help glean insight into what your kid's primary love language is. This book has been amazing. A lot of the suggestions have been just tremendous. And I thought that after reading the love languages, the one mostly for adults, I thought, okay, well, how hard can it be? But this book is actually just chocked full of really great ideas. And to be honest, I've only touched on probably maybe half of what this book has to offer. So if you're interested, I would really, really suggest reading it. It's been really good, and I'm really enjoying everything that I'm reading from it. I feel like it's just, everything is really, really vital, and it's good. So yeah, if you're interested in the book, we're going to have some information on the book down in the description, and also the video that we talked about in the 5 love languages, we'll have some more information on it down there as well. I hope that you guys liked the video, and if you did, please click like. But also, if there is somebody out there that you think could benefit from this, I would love it if you would consider sharing. Nothing's new, and here's how we learn: is we share, we learn from other people, it's a big community of ideas. So I would love it if you would consider sharing the video. We'd also like to invite you to be a subscriber. If you're a subscriber, you get an email when we put out a new video, which, by the way, happens every week, and we've got over 80 videos about family and kids and life and budgeting and all kinds of different stuff. So we would love for you to join us on our journey into family and all that good stuff. Thank you so much for your time, guys, and we hope to see you this time next week. Bye!